Well, good afternoon and good morning to those west of me. You are in the BREW, building relationships every week. I am Brendan Derone, Chief Distribution Officer for E4 Insurance Services. And today from Great American, we have Brigette Ochs as our guest presenter. Today is the last day of the quarter, so I hope you've hit your goals. If not, well, you got maybe 5 hours left to do so. So get those quarterly goals done, and tomorrow is a new quarter. With that, we also have a couple special days today. Today is Manatee Appreciation Day. So not sure that all of you can go give a manatee a hug, but those in Florida and wherever else manatees live, go hop in the water, give one a hug. It's also National Little Red Wagon Day, National Clams on the Half Shell Day, National Tater Day, and our last food for at least some kids, National Crayon Day. For others, just use to color them, or you could melt them in your Bunsen burner, because it is also National Bunsen Burner Day. And to wrap it all up, National Prom Day. So a lot of days to celebrate today to end the quarter, so do with that information what you wish. With that, I am going to hand it over to Brigette. Brigette, it is all yours, and thank you for presenting.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction there. I'm looking forward to celebrating Tater Day. So as you mentioned, I am Brigette Ochs. I'm a relationship manager here at Great American. And I originally started at Great American in 2013. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here so you can see it. All right. Brenda, can you see that?
Not yet.
Okay, let me pull it up here. Let's take a look. 2021 tech issues.
It's okay.
Here we go.
Happens.
There we go.
Now I see it.
All right, great. All right, so as I mentioned, I've been here since 2013. Over the years, I've experienced the vast growth of the Great American Company and many changes from new products to industry legislations that we have all had to adapt to. So today I want to cover with you just an overview of Great American. And then we've got a new CAP strategy I want to introduce to you that was launched on March 22nd, as well as Inherited IRA Business Post-Secure Act. So Great American is actually based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And our parent company, American Financial Group, has assets of approximately $70 billion. We have a vast history in the insurance industry, dating back to 1872. For those who don't know us, we launched into the annuity space in 1976. And of course, you see the iconic Great American Tower that you can't miss when you look at the Cincinnati skyline. So as you can see here, we've had long-term financial strength of A or higher with A&M Best for 40 consecutive years. And as of 2020, A plus with A&M Best and A plus with Standard & Poor's. So our ratings can be, of course, contributed to many factors, including just our experienced management team, our solid operating performance, and of course, record levels of capital. So by expanding our distribution channels over the last few years, you'll see here that in the past 10 years, our annuity premiums have more than tripled. And with all that positive financial strength news and growth has led us to our more recent news, which you may have read, that Great American Insurance Group, the annuity division, was acquired by Mass Mutual. That's anticipated to close in the second quarter of this year. So we're going to be operating as a subsidiary of MassMutual, staying based in Cincinnati. And of course, our core products, success in the annuity space, our exceptional customer service is all why they acquired us. So we're going to be business as usual for the foreseeable future, but good news to have on the radar for great American growth. So with that, we're going to go into other exciting news, which is the launch of our new guaranteed cap lock strategy. So what is the newest cap lock strategy? So the purpose of this particular strategy is to lock in a cap during the entire early withdrawal charge schedule. So whether that be 5 years, 7 years, the cap will remain the same through the length of the term. Still allows for annual interest crediting opportunities based on the S&P performance. And then just like a typical FIA, they're going to see downside protection with the 0% floor. So we're going to look at a hypothetical example of how this cap lock strategy works. You're going to see here, this is a 5-year early withdrawal period. The example shows a 4% upside cap. So just annual crediting still available. Year 1 based on S&P performance. Year 2 demonstrating a staple of an FIA with 0% floor. So downside protection against market declines. Year term 3, 4, you're still seeing the upside cap potential of 4%. And then year 5 as well. So the purpose of illustrating this strategy is that this is not a multi-year term strategy where they have to wait several years before seeing interest credited. They're going to be able to see potential interest credited annually for compounding potential, just as a regular annual point-to-point cap that would renew. So that's the purpose of the illustration here. So this new cap lock strategy is available on the American Legend 7, the American Landmark 5, and our Index Protector 7 fixed indexed annuities. Just to note, Index Protector 7 is a fee-based product available to our insurance licensed investment advisor representatives. So speaking on these annuities, before we move forward, these are some of our most popular products. Notably the Legend 7, we see a lot of inherited business come into the American Legend 7, mostly because it's a 7-year early withdrawal charge schedule, and then also the diversified strategies that are available within the product. So now that we know some of the products we see inherited business in, let's talk about inherited IRAs post-Secure Act. So we have been accepting non-spousal inherited IRA business prior to the Secure Act. And we're still proud to be a carrier that can accommodate this business post-Secure Act. So we've made the appropriate contractual changes to forms and our processes so that we can continue to accept non-spousal inherited IRA business that was affected by the legislation of the Secure Act that went into effect on January 1st, 2020. We'll talk briefly about some benefits of inherited IRA contracts, which you may be aware of too. One being that they can continue to invest that inheritance into an annuity and experience growth rather than just a lump sum payout at one point. It can also alleviate the tax burden of the beneficiary by spreading out the taxable portion over several years. Also, what they may not know is that when they set up their own inherited contract, they may have their own beneficiaries they want to list for when they die, who they want to pass that on to. So any remaining can be paid out to the beneficiary they list on their contract. We're going to look at a scenario or a inherited scenario that you may come across. This example here is generation 1, and this is going to be spousal continuation with our John and Jane in the example here. So John's the original IRA owner. Once he passes, it does go to his wife, Jane, where she'll do spousal continuation and continue that IRA as if it were her own. You'll see there that once she passes at age 72 in the example, she can go ahead and send that on to her second generation, which in this example is going to be Allison. Allison's 48-year-old daughter, and then she can assume that account value in an inherited contract for the purpose of titling, as in this example, would be Allison as beneficiary of Jane. And then she can go ahead and assume the contract as long as the final payment is paid out within 10 years of her mother's original date of death. So that's another key point of the Secure Act that we've been able to implement, is allowing for that 10-year roll in all of our contracts. Generation 3, of course, once Allison dies, if she were to die within that 10-year period, as I mentioned, any remaining balance of her inherited IRA can be paid out to her beneficiary. And in this case, it's Mary. You'll see the source of this is we do have a Leaving a Legacy brochure. And this example is in it with some important information that is client friendly. So this is available on our GA Connect website, and then we'd be happy to distribute it as well. So we'll go ahead and summarize some of the key takeaways here of inherited business post-Secure Act. As I mentioned, we're going to continue to take non-spousal inherited IRAs and inherited non-qualified contracts at Great American. All required distributions must be based off of the life of a person who is age 75 or younger. So if there are distributions that are being taken once this is inherited, that 75 age, maximum age, is a Great American requirement. So as a carrier, we can accept inherited business for clients that are 75 or younger. Inherited IRAs, they do not have the 60-day rollover role, so they have to be direct rollover or trustee to trustee direct transfer. Great American's inherited contracts cannot be issued with any of our optional riders, like our income or enhanced death benefit rider. We do also assist with inherited cases involving a trust. So if you have a client who has a trust as their beneficiary of their original IRA or non-qualified contract, as long as it qualifies as a look-through trust, meaning the beneficiaries of the trust are living individuals, we can assist you in setting up an inherited trust contract as well. And then a key change that a lot of us are working on or have dealt with is that the Secure Act put in place that any death on or after January 1st, 2020, the assets of that inherited IRA have to be taken within 10 years following the date of death of the original owner. So all of our contracts will allow for this. Now, of course, as you know, the Secure Act does have some exceptions to the 10-year payout rule. And Great American's forms have accommodated those exceptions as well. So if you have a client that may be part of the exceptions to the 10-year rule, that's something that will be able to be noted on our inherited distribution form, which is required with the new business kit when submitting inherited business. So although brief, the biggest takeaways I want you to know is we're continuing to operate in this space. We'll work on those on a daily basis. And we do really appreciate going to our website at gaconnect.com, which is our agent-friendly site. tons of resources and marketing material, including stuff we covered today in this little presentation with a guaranteed cap lock strategy, as well as Secure Act frequently asked questions, which can be found on gaconnect.com. So I'd love to open it up and see if there's any discussion or questions maybe anyone has.
Bridget, Brennan here. I do have one question. So you used to have obviously a bailout. With this new cap lock, it's better than a bailout because you're locked in. To my knowledge, you're the first carrier to do this with annual resets. How are you able to price that?
So I don't have all the details on pricing for that particular one. I know currently with rollout, however, it's very competitive, that we're launched on March 22nd. So for instance, they're 25 basis points lower than the annual reset caps we currently have on like the annual point to point, the regular. So right now, 25 basis points is how they're priced.
Yeah, and to me, that's absolutely worth it to know that you're not going to have a cap reduction in the future, and I think that's
yeah,
well spent. I just it seems, and maybe not in this interest rate environment, but to me, it seems to put some risk on Great American. I was just curious how they're able to do that or price that.
Yeah, I mean, and currently on the rate sheet, just as an example, you may be looking at 4.65 on a annual point to point, depending on the product and premium. And then the cap lock strategy is like 4.4 right now. So just depending on the product, and that's just an example of one of them.
Well, perfect. Well, I don't see any other questions, but I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
Could you pick a number between 1 and 15?
It's going to be number 11.
Number 11. Steve Hauser, Kansas, is our winner. So you will receive not only a CE voucher, but a Starbucks gift card. So thank you for your attendance and congratulations. And with that, if you have not checked out our BREW blog on our website, be sure to catch this and all of our previous BREW episodes out there. So have a great rest of your quarter. And here is to the second quarter starting tomorrow. Have a great one, everyone.